This is a story that I want to share, a personal story that back when my sister owned this other apartment, I'm not going to say anywhere exactly, but I remember when her and her husband had gone on vacation and I was house sitting for them. And you can tell by just stepping into this apartment that it was eerie, it wasn't right, things just seemed off. And you could really, really tell this when her cats, I remember faintly that her cats, when I was looking for them, because I didn't stay there every night. I just stayed there off and on. But I remember coming in and looking for the cats, and these cats were so terrified that they were inside. Like my sister had this old, like, closet kind of section, but it wasn't really like a closet. I can't explain it, but in the hallway, it had this cutout in the wall, and she put her towels and stuff there. And I remember looking for the cats, and I was looking for them for a good while. I wouldn't say hours, maybe for at least like 40 some minutes or whatnot. I don't know exactly. And I remember seeing one of her cats. What was its name? Uh, what was her cat's name? Anyway, the name doesn't matter. But I remember seeing her tail on the towels there, and I was shocked. Like I thought something bad had happened. So I hurried up and dug all the towels out and threw them on the floor. And luckily they were okay. And they were nervous. Their hair was like really fluffed up like cats get when they're scared. And I can tell that they were nervous because that apartment, I still remember it, was the most eeriest thing I've ever experienced. So I'll just give you an explanation of everything. Every time you go to that apartment, you felt like you were being watched, and not like the normal sense, like your hair stands up on your neck, you get chills. No, it literally, you would get so overwhelmed that you didn't want to be there because it literally felt like somebody was standing there and ready to jump out and grab you at any moment. And I remember she had a vent, and it was like a boss vent, I guess you can say, that leads into the basement. And I remember looking there, and that section right there just gave me an eerie vibe because if you looked in that vent, you could literally see straight into the laundry room. And I never liked it. I never liked the thought of that. And I remember she had a leather couch, very nice. The couch doesn't matter, but it was literally aimed in a kind of a way where you could see in that vent. And that always felt off to me because it always felt like if you slept on that couch, something would look through the vent at you. Now, I don't remember what channel it was, but my sister's old place, that place that I stayed at, is featured on YouTube somewhere in a scary story video where you can see cars and not cars, but a children's toy moved across the floor and a shadow of a child. Now, here's the thing that creeped me out is my sister told me that when she came back from vacation with her husband, um, they had found flies engulfed in the house, like everywhere on the windows, like. And we thought it was trash. She thought I had left trash in her house. And I tried to explain to her, I don't leave trash in your house. I wouldn't dare do that. That's disrespectful. So she spent days scavenging around, getting rid of the flies. And I remember she telling me she literally went to a local church to see if they can bless her property because she was terrified. You know, we've always been believers of paranormal and things beyond belief. You know, I know not everybody agrees with that, not everybody feels the same. But I still remember that she told me that that priest literally refused to go into her home because he said that when he pulled up to her house, the energy was so negative he could feel it outside. And that stuck with me because the experience that I had in that home when she was out on vacation with her husband, I was literally like, it was like 3 a.m., close to 3 a.m., I want to say. And I remember this. very faintly but vividly, if that makes sense. I remember this overwhelming smell, like trash, like something was there and it didn't smell right. And I got up and I thought maybe there was something spoiling, the refrigerator wasn't working. I don't know why all this stuff crossed my mind at this time in the morning. I should have just went to sleep. But I got up and I went around the whole entire apartment looking for everything, and I couldn't find anything that the smell was coming from. Finally, the smell kind of settled and I didn't smell it anymore. I was getting tired because, I mean, it is late. It's almost morning time. So I lay back down and I remember closing my eyes and I remember hearing a very, very faint whisper, like something was asking if I was awake. And I thought maybe I was dozing in and off because, if you, as you're laying there and you're falling asleep, you could have dreams before you're entirely sleep asleep, if that makes any sense. I don't know how scientific. I don't scientifically understand that, but it's a concept. I guess you can call it like what's that? Sleep paralysis, but I don't think it was sleep paralysis. But I do vividly remember whispering, and somebody was asking if I was awake, and I didn't think nothing of it, and I just laid there, you know. And then I heard it again, and I woke up. Like not, I was already awake, but I got up because I was nervous. And then that feeling happened, that overwhelming feeling, like something was ready to jump at me and grab me. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. If you have, leave it down in the comments and let me know your story if you have anything to share. I wouldn't go too crazy to say anything much else happened in that apartment other than those things. But the overwhelming feeling that you get in that apartment, you couldn't pay me to go back. I'll never go back there. I'll never step in that apartment again. And I told my sister this. Luckily, they moved away years later. Another thing that I want to share is my nieces. When my sister and her husband and their children, my nieces, moved into a new place that he currently lives in. She currently doesn't. That's a long story. I don't want to get into detail. That's personal. Um, but I remember when I visited the first couple weeks when they moved in, my nieces had said, Uncle Bean, that's what they call me. They call me Bean. Don't know why. Don't know where they got that name from. But I just go with it because they're my nieces. So I'm in their room and they're showing me everything, their toys and all their new stuff that my sister had bought for them. And I remember them telling me because the way their closet is, they had like this real open section in the closet, and you could literally sit up there. This is how big this thing is. And I remember being in awe when I saw it because I thought it was cool. I never had anything like that as a kid. It looked like a stage above the closet. I don't know if you could picture that in your mind, what that looks like, but so I remember them telling me that's where he sleeps, and I'm like, who's sleeping? Who's that? Who's we? I said, is your father sleeping up there? And he said, no, it's the thing from the old house. And my body ran cold because I'm like, if my nieces are seeing things from the old place here, something followed them. And I asked him in further detail, I said, can you explain to me what you're seeing or what you have seen? And they told me that it's a demon with red eyes that lays up there and watches them at night. And I said, I tried to pull it off as passive. I tried to say, you need to stop watching so much scary stuff or anything. But my sister reassured me that they don't watch scary stuff. They just watch cartoons, and that's really mainly it. And they play outside. So she said, I really don't know where they got this idea from unless it's children at school. And we brushed it off as probably that. We were hoping it was that. But I remember them telling me that. And then another detail that I feel like I left out, and I'm trying to figure out, is because I have so much stuff that I can say, but another they told me that the same being. Oh, that's what it was. So the way they explained to it is the way that it kind of made me laugh, but I'm nervous at the same time because I'm like, if they're really seeing this, that's kind of terrifying. But also, they told me it lays in such a posture, like you know how people lay on their side with their hand under their head, like kind of like you're posing, I guess, when you lay down on your side. That's how they told me it was laying down, looking at them, and that just baffled me because I'm like, not only is this thing haunting them, but it also has a personality. That's really strange. And then I can go into other details like things that they seen in the basement of that new house. They said that they seen that same spirit or poltergeist or whatever standing. So when you go downstairs, I'm going to explain to you. When you go down into their basement, the staircase is open. Like you could literally stare downward and see under the stairs, and that terrifies me. I hate open staircases. It absolutely terrifies me because if you go down there, I've always had that feeling like if a spirit did exist, it was going to grab me by the back of the leg or something. I've seen too many horror movies. So that's exactly what happened in a way. They didn't grab him, but they said that they saw that spirit and his hand came through the stairs like it was pretending like it was going to grab him. And I know kids have a very keen imagination when it comes to things, but that house, those experiences, those I just don't want to experience those kind of things. But anyway, I've kind of like baffled on for long enough and everything. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate it. If you have anything else that you'd like to share about this, your situation in the comments, be sure to share it. I appreciate everything. And if you made it this far, if you would be so kind to like or subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I'm not going to pressure you with that stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.